Rebel against defeat, chase excellence, masculinity, men first. I debated doing this video for so long, but it's how to get over your ex-wife, your ex-girlfriend, your partner, what have you. And I've got a couple tips. That woman and you have a chemical addiction to one another. That's why for men it's a lot difficult to get over them. Because there's a chemical addiction between both of you, how both of you play off each other, what you're used to, the familiarity and so forth. So you've got to deal with that. You just can't all of a sudden snap out of it. You're going to have thoughts, you're going to have memories. But what I did was, there's an old saying, to get over someone is to get under another. But I don't know if that's true anymore. That might work, that might not work. However, I think the biggest tip I can give anyone that's going through this, that's gone through heartbreak, that's gone through pain, that's gone through sadness and so forth, before you understood female nature, is to remember this. You can never make anyone love you or like you or be with you. It's as simple as that. They have their own freedom to choose, just as you do. Number 2, female nature and understanding female nature should give you pinpoint clarity into why your relationship went wrong. It's as simple as that. It's either from a protector side or a provider side. Okay? So you can use red pill knowledge to understand why the breakup happened, right? In today's modern world. And number 3, this is probably my most significant discovery and how I got over 22 years of being together with this woman was I wrote a list down. This sounds so archaic and so goofball. I wrote a list, and on one side I put the pros, and the other side I put the cons. And I was extremely liberal in terms of what I wrote on the pros and what I wrote on the cons. I made sure I left nothing unturned, nothing unsaid. If she made great casserole, I put it on the pros. If she neglected me in front of her sister, I put it on the cons and so forth. Well, at the end of that experience and that exercise, I had about 3 to 4 times as many cons as pros. And again, I gave her the benefit of the doubt on those pros. I went probably a lot further, but I was 3 to 4 times more on the side that had all of the negatives. So every time, and I told this to a buddy that's going through this, every time I kind of got that memory, a good memory, because remember, the mind after a couple weeks at times will tend to look at only the good and forget the bad. That's just how our psychology works. Every time I started thinking about something, maybe it was a happy moment, or maybe I saw a picture, or maybe I had a memory, or a song came on that reminded me of her, I would pull out my list and I would read the cons. And that would reinforce everything. And I kept that on my phone. I took a picture of it and I would read it all the time. And that's how I got over my ex. Because I looked at the reality versus the fantasy in my head. And that fantasy can really take you for a loop. It can really mess with you. So those are my tips for getting over an ex. Okay? Number 1, you can't force anyone to love you, like you, or be with you. Number 2, you understand female nature and male nature as well. Okay? You understand that women seek protection and provision, and women have a very difficult way of showing love to a man. In fact, they don't love a man like we do. And third, you write that list down and you be extremely liberal. And I guarantee there's going to be more cons than pros. And every time you think and something gets into your mental state or your psyche, some good part of it that makes you a little sad or worried, pull that list out. And you keep pulling it out. That right there is your antibiotic. That's your medicine to get in past life and you move on. And the great thing is you understand female nature, so you don't have to go through this again. So it's a wonderful experience. That's how you get over your ex. Rebel against defeat, Chase excellence. Masculinity, men first.